Well, hello, my global issue scholars. It is Monday, May the 25th. We are in our final 3 weeks of home learning. Thank you guys very much for all the work you've been doing. Last week's assignment was some good news. You guys did not disappoint. I even had some of you making videos. So a shout out to Caitlin Drake, made us some good news video, which I actually did send off to John Krasinski and his team at the Some Good News Network, and they actually got back to me and they said they watched it and they give Caitlin an A+. So shout out to Caitlin for her hard work on that. As we move forward this week, this is always a heavier topic, one that I debated on doing as an online unit because I don't want you to feel like I'm preaching at you with all these different world religions, but I think it's important that we become a little well versed in some of the fundamentals on what some of the major world religions stand for, and what their kind of beliefs are, and the main points of them. So this video is essentially just giving you an explanation of the two different options that you have this week. So your first option, there is a slideshow. It's called Online Learning World Religions. So there's a little overview kind of the big five. So we're looking at Hinduism and Buddhism, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. So that's just a quick overview. And then we get a little deeper in the slideshow. So there's a little section on Christianity and, kind of what the main points are on Christianity. There are some John Green crash course videos in here. They're optional viewing. Don't feel like you're handcuffed to view those, but John Green does a pretty good job of explaining different topics. So there's a few of his clips throughout this slideshow. As we get through Christianity, then there's a little section on Judaism. So there's not a lot. Like there's quite a few slides in this slideshow, but there's not a lot of content to read. You can pick and choose what you want to learn about, or if you want to read the whole thing, it wouldn't take you very long at all. So we're going to look on the fundamentals of Judaism, and even their dietary restrictions, which would be kosher. After Judaism, there's Islam and kind of the fundamentals of the Muslim religion. And once again, there's some more optional viewing with John Green. Then we're going to learn a little bit more about what it means to be a Hindu and what their religion stands for. And then as we move on, there's a little section on the non-believers, which seems to be a growing number of people in the world these days. And yeah, it's just something for you guys to kind of roll through and get some information. Obviously, when we talk about world religions, everyone is entitled to to practice their own religions, and the solution kind of is just to coexist with one another. That takes me to the two options that you have for assessment this week. So the very first option, it's called Thinking Theology, and it's just a response. So this week in online learning, you've explored some of the different world religions. As it is a hot button issue, for your responses, just consider some of the questions that I have below and give me a 250 to 500 word double spaced response. Please give me a brief introduction and a conclusion as well. But there's 15 questions here that you can pick and choose from to craft your response. I do not want you to answer all 15 questions. That would take you forever. But pick a few different items on this list to craft your responses. At the end of it, if you put it in MLA format, if you have any extra research, just make sure you cite that. That would be great. Otherwise, it would be plagiarism. So make sure that you're showing where you get your information from. Your second option, and this was spurred on because as quarantine went on, I got more well acquainted with Netflix, and one of the series that I watched was Waco. So this was based on a true story. It's a 6-part Netflix event. I highly recommend watching it. It was fascinating. And this is a story about a cult leader, and a cult is kind of like an alternative religion that kind of stems from one of the major religions. So that inspired me to give you the second option. So the second option, it's called cults and sects. Um, so a sect is a group regarded as heretical or deviating from a generally accepted religious tradition. And then a cult is a religion or a sect that's considered either false or very unorthodox or extreme. Just kind of like the Waco series. Um, so the purpose of this response is I want you to find a religious cult or a sect that is somewhere in the world, and there are lots of them. And I want you to do some research and pick one of these religious cults or sects. I don't want you to do Roman Catholicism or Protestantism. I want you to kind of go way out there and see if you can find some interesting cults. And in your research, I just want you to, if you can find all of this information here, that's great. If you can only find a little bit of it, that's fine too. Tell me the name of the cult or the sect or the religion, who founded it, what kind of sacred text do they study, who is the leader, how big is the group, do they have any history or opposition, what are some of their fundamental beliefs, and then maybe a personal glimpse, what you liked or disliked or couldn't wrap your head around upon your findings. I have some links down here. So 11 religious cults that are extremely dangerous to humanity. So you can click on that link, and that will take you to some different ones like the KKK, the Children of God, Raelism, the Illuminati, the People's Temple. So that was the People's Temple is definitely an interesting one as well. There's an index of cults and religions here, so I'm providing you with a wealth of information to find a different religious cult or sect. So do a little bit of research and give me your findings. So that's the response for this week. So you have two choices. Don't do both assignments. Just pick one, whether it's the cults and the sects or just a general religious response on your thoughts on religion and what you learned from the slideshow on the major religions. Thank you again for all the work you've been doing. I hope you're all staying well. The weather is turning. It's feeling like summer. That's great. We only have 3 weeks of online learning left, including this one. So please take advantage. The work you're doing, you're going to get great marks. It's going to boost your markup. And I love reading your responses and your work. So once again, if you guys have any questions, shoot me an email. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you're doing well and everything is great here. So have a great week, and we'll chat later.